Spooky Tuesday.
Wyatt put them on there. To brainwash me.
Dum dum dum. Ooh, brainwashing. Ooh, help, we're being brainwashed. Diet Coke is the new Pepsi One.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Josie McCoy. And this week, I am actually Chelsea Duff, but I'll be playing Josie McCoy, self-appointed, because we've got a very special episode. I've been teasing it for, I don't know, probably a year and a half, maybe since episode 1 of this podcast, possibly. At least since episode 3. Because that was the episode where we did Scream 3, which stars Parker Posey. And you might know Parker Posey also stars in another delightful film. I've always tried to pitch it as a murder mystery. But then when the idea of Fifth Tuesday came to us, we knew it would have its own moment, its own time to shine. And that day is finally here, because today, for our third ever Fifth Tuesday, we are doing the 2001 movie Josie and the Pussycats, an instant classic when it came out. Some of us were right there at the door, ready to watch it back in second grade, making it our favorite movie, not getting any of the jokes, but loving it nonetheless. And some of us came to it a little slower over time, but we're all here now and we're all ready to celebrate. Isn't that right, Pussycats?
Yes, Josie.
Ready.
Chelsea.
Amazing. Yeah.
Chelsea / Josie, be honest. Did you create Fifth Tuesday just so we could do this movie?
I won't say
think
it was
it's yes.
unrelated.
Yes. It's
I
fine
think they
because it was a
went
great
hand in
idea.
hand. Here's the thing. If we hadn't created Fifth Tuesday, I would have made us do Josie and the Pussycats anyway. So, you know, I'm just glad it has a proper home now. And I'm also glad the day has finally come, because we really thought it was going to be our first Fifth Tuesday at first. And then, you know, Twilight spoke through all of us and it needed to be first.
It just has those fall vibes, you know? I feel like spring is a great time for this movie. Spring, start of summer, you know? No, it's start of summer. Oh my God. It's Memorial Day.
and we officially started summer last week with Final Destination, because it's Final Destination summer. So it's officially summer now.
Yeah,
it's got
here's
summer
the
vibes.
thing. Us here at Spooky Tuesday control the seasons. Like back at the end of April, we're like, it's officially spooky season. And now it's officially summer with Final Destination summer, and spooky season and summer are two exact same things.
They're one and the same.
They're
it's
one and
the
the
same thing.
Yeah.
You can wear, it can be hot, spooky girl summer. That goes really well. That works really well, actually. Imagine for a moment, you're wearing a sexy bikini and there's a jack-o'-lantern on each of your tits. There you go.
I would love that, actually. It's so fun.
I wear my Spirit Halloween t-shirt that Monica got me year round.
Incredible.
I was wearing it last night.
It's a year-round item, and especially now for the next 6 months, you know? But okay, Josie and the Pussycats needs a shine, because I had never seen this movie in my life until my girl here, Chelsea Duff, changed my life forever. When was it? Was it for your birthday, or was it?
It was for my
that?
birthday.
Yeah.
We
watched it
with some
September.
of our OG spooky crew did like a movie night one night where we were doing Josie and the Pussycats, and you were going to join, because when I discovered you'd never watched it, I was like, that's against the law. But something happened, and then like our streams weren't working very well anyway. But when my birthday rolled around, I was like, this is my moment. I'm seizing this moment. Everybody has to watch the movie that I choose, that I bought on iTunes back in 2003. And now you do. Like, amazing. We love it.
It was an unbelievable experience to watch the movie for the very first time, just at all. And then also in the presence of Chelsea Duff, that was an incredible experience as well, because she is obsessed with this movie and she was glowing. She was glowing. It was her birthday. She was glowing.
Sydney, when did you first watch it?
I first watched it. Here's the thing. I wasn't in person for your birthday because
in spirit though. Yeah.
In spirit. But I think I did watch it that same time for your birthday.
Oh, in honor of me. Aww.
Yeah.
How sweet.
Another person who is obsessed with this movie is one of our guests that we've had on, and that is Miss Devin Kogan.
She was the one that alerted me when Super Yaki was doing a Josie and the Pussycats collection so that I could get my shirts, especially because I missed it the first time around. She was like, baby, they're doing a restock. And I was like, okay, let me set an alarm on my phone so I'm ready this time.
You got it.
Because
they're gonna sell out.
Yes. Here's the thing. This movie came out in 2001. The summary per IMDb is a girl group finds themselves in the middle of a conspiracy to deliver subliminal messages through popular music. And at the time, it just like flawless film that it is, it didn't quite find the right audience. And there's a lot
flopped.
It fucking flopped. And there's a lot of hubbub about the marketing for this movie because of the comics. They really marketed it to young girls. And I will say, I think young girls liked it a lot. I sure did. I remember watching it way back in the day. I remember in the beginning when they're doing the like Josie intro, and Melody is holding the sign that says honk if you love Pussycats, but the cats part is hidden behind a pole.
So funny.
And then there's the car crash.
Hilarious.
I was just like, haha, a car crash. Like, didn't get it. That's okay. I didn't need to, I was just like, it doesn't say the whole word. That's so silly. And I get it now. But they just they marketed to that audience. That's the audience they got. It didn't quite resonate in a meaningful way at the time, but then that audience grew up. It's been 21 years now, and that audience is here absolutely standing the hell out of it still to this day, riding hard for it every single moment that we get, getting it justice in popular culture and in media now that we work in those spaces instead of those old people who just like didn't appreciate it for what it was at the time. But we're here now. But,
okay, I just want to set the tone for you guys to see how much people hated this, and then we're gonna talk about it and you're gonna be like, this is the greatest movie of all time. I no longer trust Roger Ebert and any word that he said. He literally was talking about the characters and the writing, and he says that Josie and the Pussycats are not dumber than the Spice Girls, but they're as dumb as the Spice Girls, which is dumb enough. And he also didn't like the
Spice World.
He hated
and
it.
He's wrong. Spice World
He's
is
so wrong.
A work of high class art.
These men don't appreciate. It's not for you. First of all, you're not the audience. Get out.
I know, but boys can like it too. But here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you all this so we can get riled up. Okay. We're gonna get riled up. Then he says that he didn't like the soundtrack. So obviously his ears are broken. That's so sad. And he said, maybe it's supposed to sound like brainless preteen fodder, but it's not good enough at being bad to be funny and stops merely at the bad stage.
What a little
He should be killed. He should be shot.
Here's the thing
Elvis.
That
go
keep
ahead.
Going. Finish this, and
I'm gonna finish the rant, and then we will eviscerate him. Then some guy named Elvis Mitchell from New York Times said, "Few people other than airline passengers should be submitted to such misery."
What does that even mean?
Really mad because it's like airplane movies are, sometimes the ones that they used to force you to watch when you didn't get to choose. Do you remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
It would just be one movie on the screens and that was it. I think that's what he's talking about. And then this one was really fucked up and sexist. And Peter Travers, I hope that you look at your old article and fucking cry because you're such a little misogynist. He said, a harmless girly trifle before lamenting its lack of male gaze oriented sex appeal. Gone are the cat suits. Fetishists will have to settle for Pussycat car phones. In Anywhere USA town of Riverdale, Songbird Josie, played by Rachel Lee Cook, pines chastely for Alan M., a lanky musician who doesn't even notice this kitty has titties. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to find him and I'm going to kill him. But I do like the rhyme of kitties has titties. I do like that, but I just like rhymes.
Look, what was the first one? Harmless girly romp. What was it?
Trifle.
I do kind of like that line, but not in the way that I'm like in a I'm taking it back way.
Yeah, like in a
like yes, we love a harmless girly trifle. That's what I want, you little bitch.
Such a little bitch.
Also, it's not harmless. This is scathing satire.
It's scathing. No one got it.
This movie, like the critics suffer, I think, one of the same reasons of like Twilight, and another thing that just like irks me is when like adult men like shit on things that are made for teenage girls. You know, like it's like such a thing for like adults, and especially adult men, to actively just shit on things that like young women like, and then it makes like young women feel bad about liking it, so then they go through the whole thing of like, no, I actually don't like it, and then as they're older they're like, no, I do like this. It was just like Twilight, Taylor Swift, like all these things that like,
stop calling me out. I had legitimate reasons for starting to hate both of those things. Okay.
Peer pressure, Monica. But it's just so frustrating. And like these reviews, like it's just like, this isn't for you. Like you don't get it. Just admit that you don't get it and that it isn't for you and move on. Like
that's part of the thing that's really frustrating too, though, is like they just legitimately, not even it wasn't for them, and so they didn't get the aesthetics and they didn't get the taste, but like they didn't get the point also a lot of the times. Like there was discourse from critics at the time. You know, the movie is filled brim to brim. Every single scene has like some sort of product placement in it. Yeah. And that's because it is a commentary. That's literally the point. And the movie didn't like make any money off of any of that product placement. They didn't take any money for that. They did have some like cross promotion. Yeah, they did have some cross promotion stuff, but they didn't like financially build off of that product placement. They didn't like get kickbacks. And so all of the critics, not all, but critics were being like, they're making this commentary about product placement and yet they're doing product placement, and it's like, no, that's the thing. You don't get it. You're just also missing the point. You just don't understand, and that's fine, but just say that you don't understand.
Just say you don't get it. And it's just like, how would they be able to make the commentary about product placement without having having the like a representation of that in the film? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, they have to depict it somehow. I don't understand. What did they want from them? What did they want? It's just so frustrating. If you want to get riled up and also be excited, you should watch a video that is in the references. It's from the John Field show. And this man, John, wrote a video essay about Josie and the Pussycats called Josie and the Pussycats is the greatest film ever made, an essay on film. And it talks about like
join the army.
Yes, of course, that is presumably always the subtext, but yes. But he talks about just how like people write off like things that are geared towards women. There's so many like cult films that are geared towards women, and he in the part of the I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm sorry, I watched the last 5 minutes. But there's the first 5 minutes too.
You're like, let's get the thesis
it's 10 minutes long. I didn't have a lot of time, but it was fantastic, and there's a lot of clips in it. It's really well done. But he was talking about how like the word that is law in film is like the film bro like word, and it's so frustrating because it's not representative. He's like, all the people who are like filling the forums and typing all these comments are all these dudes, and that doesn't mean that women don't like these movies. They're just not doing that. They're doing other shit with their time. So if you go on IMDb, this was so scathing. He was like, you go on IMDb, you look at the like top 100 best films of all time, and it's like The Godfather and like all this shit. And he's like, that looks like the posters you see on the wall of some frat boy in college. And I was like, oh, incredibly accurate. And so I don't know, it was just a really well done video. And obviously I agree with the thesis statement, because this is such a fucking joy. Like, coming to this late in life, I didn't have the childhood connection to it. I'd heard a lot of the songs before, so I had that at least. But like, it's smart. It's so smart, and it's so hilarious in so many ways that I could have never expected. Like, this is the greatest movie of all time. Like, we say that in like a lot of episodes, but I think like this is actually it.
I think it comes to us at a really interesting time now too, because they did a revival in 2017, not a revival. They revisited it and did like, yay, anniversary for its 16th birthday in 2017. And then they did a bunch of stuff for its like 20th birthday last year. But I think it's been really interesting to see the like generation that grew up with this, like kind of being introduced to it as a quote unquote kids movie, even though it's literally not. Like, it's fine for kids to watch. There's nothing terribly inappropriate for kids to watch, but they're just not like the target audience, because they don't have the cultural knowledge to have the cultural commentary. They just don't have that base laid. But now we've all grown into our 20s, 30s, and we have a different perspective on society, and we have seen how what's his face, Eugene Levy, and the little documentary video explainer within the movie is like, what's good for the economy is good for America, yay. And then they wave the flag, gold bikini, etc. Like, we've seen how that is like 100% king to the government these days. Like, it is all about the economy and literally nothing else. And unfortunately, this film is just as relevant now, if not perhaps more so than it was when it came out.
Totally. The Refinery 29 article about this that brings that up as well. Like, it's every artist nowadays, it's not like they're necessarily pushing products subliminally in the I didn't say it right the second time too. Subliminally, there we go. In the lyrics of the songs. I mean, some of them do though, like Henny. They're talking about Henny all the time, and like other like alcohols like come up in songs all the time. So that's a form of product placement. But like every music video that you see, it's like,
they're all so sponsored.
Here I am drinking out of a bottle of Ciroc, and here I am opening my new iPhone, or like something like that. Like, there's so much of that literally happens. And then like on Instagram, all the like paid partnership stuff, like that's constant too. So it's hella relevant.
I like the fact that none of the brands paid to be in this movie too. Yeah. Which is so funny, but also part of me wishes that they did pay to be in this movie, and then the movie just like shit on all of that.
That'd be fun.
That's what I wasn't sure about when I was watching it. I was like, I know it was supposed to be a satire, but I was like, are these brands just like, yeah, haha, like, it's funny?
Kind of, though, because some brands said no. I was reading an article earlier. I don't remember which one it was, but I'll link all the articles I read and you guys can figure it out. But the directors, Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont, they approached a bunch of different brands with ideas. And one of them was Gap, because I guess in the 90s, Gap had this campaign that was like, everyone in leather, everyone in whatever, everyone wears khakis, whatever it was, I forget. And they wanted to do like an everyone wears leopard as a tie-in for the movie. But Gap read the script and like saw what the message of the script was and was like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. Which, fair enough. Don't go out of your way to get roasted. But it is fun that some brands like Target we're like, whatever, we're Target, we're gonna be fine, do what you want, and we support you. And I just love that, and I think that's fun. If you're going to let the economy be your god master, you should be able to have a little fun with it, I think.
Oh, just the stuff that they do with the branding in this is so fucking hilarious. Like the detail of it. Like there's the one point where Melody is taking a shower and it's a McDonald's shower and like the scrubber is like French fries and like I don't even know, the soap looks like something else. It's
the hamburger is
so
just like
funny.
Dangling from the lighting fixture by the mirror.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's when they're in the aquarium, there's an Evian ad inside with the freaking beluga whales. Like
my favorite is beautiful. Like at the end when Parker Posey and Josie are fighting and the floor is covered with like Advil, I think, or like a leaf or something like that.
Oh my god.
There's one moment where after the like band member confrontation, and Josie yells at Melody and Melody is walking out. It's just the whole floor has the America Online logo on it. And it is very funny to see some of the brands in here that just simply are not really around anymore. Like there was so much America Online stuff because that was so relevant back in 2001.
That was like 393 right here.
Yes, everyone thought that was the thing back in the day. That was how you got online.
Here's the thing. Ryan Seacrest is my nemesis because he kept calling our house and interrupting my AIM-ing abilities because you had to have fucking dial.
You could only use one at a time.
Sydney's dad works with Ryan Seacrest for context.
close personal friend, Ryan Seacrest. Close personal nemesis, Ryan Seacrest. Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest. I have a 70-year-old woman who I do Pilates who is my nemesis, and Ryan Seacrest.
And Ryan Seacrest. I think that's a great selection. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is super unfortunate that it didn't hit the way that it should have at the time, because it also just like damaged a lot of careers. Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont, like I could be wrong because I read this in articles that might be slightly out of date now, but I'm pretty sure they never directed a movie after this.
They just never did it again.
Yeah, they like were kind of laying low for a while, and then they waited too long. But like Tara Reid, Rachel Lee Cook, like everybody was like fairly new on this scene to a degree. Like they'd had maybe one or two huge roles, like Tara Reid had American Pie, and Rachel Lee Cook had She's All That. But they both of their careers just like kind of stalled after this. They were sort of it girls for a moment there, and it just like slammed them, which sucks so hard.
Because this should have rocketed them. They were so great in this. They're so funny. I don't know what Rosario Dawson's young career was like, but I mean, she's doing great now.
Well, I can tell you she was nominated for a breakthrough performance, Teen Choice Award for this. Thank God for the Teen Choice Awards.
Thank God.
Nominated for breakthrough performance. So I think roughly newish on this scene, but she did okay after this because like Rent was not that long after. Yeah, and Sin City was not that long after. So she kind of managed to weather the storm. But unfortunately, the movie went down and it took a lot of people with it.
So fucked up. Well,
fucked up.
Now we know how the past was wrong. And so now we'll write it by doing an hour-long love letter, kissy face to the movie. And we'll start at the very beginning. The best place to start is with DuJour, baby.
DuJour, nobody rocks the mic like DuJour. But you're right. Sydney was right. It starts with Backdoor Lover, which iconic song. So
it's
gay,
incredible
iconic,
song.
So gay.
It's to gay sex, and we love that.
It's either an ode to gay sex or an ode to anal. Either way, it's hilarious and that's amazing.
If anybody wonders why our generation likes anal so much, it is DuJour.
Is that
DuJour means anal sex.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well.
It does.
But the opening is just so perfect. I mean, like, we know that the boy band fever at the time was raging. What?
A backdoor lover, and it literally says, "Run in my hands across your cheeks. They're oh so smooth and white."
Yeah. Yeah, I was noticing that line when I was watching it earlier too. That part's really blatant.
Anyway, keep going with what you're saying. I'm just gonna soak this up for a second.
I'm a backdoor.
But yeah, the boy band fever was like so real at the time. NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Obviously, we saw One Direction came later, but we know the power of a boy band.
Yes.
The Beatles, also a boy band. Nobody wants to talk about it like that, but
No,
the whole Beatlemania
agree.
thing is
I'm a huge
the exact
Beatles
same
fan.
thing. Yeah,
no, exactly. That's the origination of it all.
it really is.
It literally is. The girlies were peeing on the aisles. Literally, they were so excited they're pissing their pants, and piss would run down the aisles of the theaters. I took a class on the Beatles. This is true. It's true.
We believe
I went to
you.
a Jonas Brothers concert like whenever the pandemic before that, 2019. And I drank a lot of wine and I jumped around so much and I peed a little bit. So did my friend. So I might just have a weak pelvic floor, but like boy bands do that to people.
Boy bands just make you piss yourself.
You just piss a little bit. It's fine. It happens. It happens. It's happened to everyone
support
here, right?
anyone who has peed at a boy band concert. You have
Thank
my
you for
full
supporting
support,
me.
my full respect.
I've seen a lot of boy bands. I've also probably peed myself at them at some point. So I stand by that.
Thank you so
If
much.
you're a true fan, you'll
If you're
pee.
a true boy
True
band there,
fans piss. Those fans looking at DuJour, they were pissing. All of them. They're 100% pissing.
Yeah,
they
hundo
couldn't
pee.
control themselves. Hundo pee,
Um,
hundo pissing.
Thank
But
God.
it's so funny, that opening scene. I love seeing the fans. I especially love the guy fan who's like, I love them, like brothers. Especially because
brothers.
yeah, that guy went on to become like a legit actor in like Shameless and Orphan Black and a whole bunch of stuff. His name is Justin something. Where is he? But it's Justin Chatwin. He was Jimmy in Shameless, etc. But I love that opening. I love it. So the whole scene, the "Marry Me, Marco," the boa. Yes, I love the boa.
I
Thank you
decided
for
to
a
dress
little
up
visual prop.
as Seth. Or not Seth. Yeah, Seth Green is his name, right?
Yes.
Okay. I second guessed myself.
So many iconic comedians. It's Donald Faison from Clueless, and Scrubs, and I feel like he's been in something else we've done. What else has he been in?
I don't know.
He was in Clueless.
I don't recall him being in one of our things, but maybe he was. He's always in my heart. I follow him on Instagram, so
maybe
I
just spoke about him at one time because I feel like
I'm always thinking about him. He's so cute, and he's so cute in this. I wish he had a bigger part because I just love him.
Yeah.
Just the fact that Seth Green's character is wearing what I'm wearing right now, which is a top hat and a boa, and like that's supposed to be hot. Like he looks so fucking dumb. It's so funny.
Do you think it was supposed to be hot, or do you think they were making fun of the way that boy bands are like?
Oh, well, he thought it was hot. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah. His character thought it was hot for sure, 100%. When he does the little, he took my face.
But here's the thing: that outfit was pretty fly in 2001. Like that was what
a top. He was working the boa. Yeah, he looked great. Yeah. Breckenmeyer was really the one with the sexy outfit with his leather pants and his flame shirt and his red bandana.
Yeah, he looked great.
But Seth Green, Donald Faison, Breckenmeyer, and then
the other guy.
yeah, Les is the one who's like not as well known, and why he was like kind of chilling, as opposed to the other ones who were like rapid fire, like spitting out funny lines and jokes. A lot of it improvised on the plane. It's like riffing off each other, and you can see some of that in the credits when they have like the bloopers rolling.
Oh my god, the blooper where I can't remember everyone's name. What's the one who is not Seth Green and is not the guy we don't know who he is?
Breckin Meyer.
Meyer,
who is in Without a Paddle with Matthew Lillard.
And was also in Clueless.
Oh, yes.
Say his name again?
Brecken.
Okay, when Brecken is like saying to Seth Green, like, oh, like your mama couldn't make you a good face or something like that. And Seth Green, this is in the credits blooper, and Seth Green is like, you know, my mom is dead. They should have kept that in. It was amazing. But it's just
think every moment, every second of that is everything is so well timed. There's like a moment where it cuts to Alan Cumming. Alan Cumming's such a fucking icon in this movie, by the way. His timing is so perfect. Even when he's just sitting there with his eyes going.
He's like literally like shifty eyes. He's like those little glasses that he has, the little yellow glasses, like his middle part. Yeah. Straight up, he looks I was attracted to him, but I'm just attracted to him.
He was fresh off Spy Kids, I think, or Spy Kids was like just about to come out. Like both, I think, his sexiest roles, Spy Kids and Josie and the Pussycats.
And there was something in IMDb trivia being like, it's not the same character. There's subliminal messaging in music. He seems like the bad guy, but it turns out he is just a worker for the real bad guy. And ultimately, you know, he's just an icon. And that's all true. I do think personally for me, he's sexier as Floop. But I do think he's iconic here. And I think he's a queer icon here. And also just in real life.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just the perfect intro. It sets up the mystery of it all. I just love when the guys like have all these like really stupid spats that they're bringing up to Alan Cumming, and he's like dealing with all of them, like the fucking poop slinging monkey, like just absolutely ridiculous. And then the last thing, they almost get away with it. They're like, oh, what's going on with this music? And Alan Cummings just executes all of that so fucking well. Like, I love all the code words that they have to like do horrible things. Take the Chevy to the levee. That means crash the fucking plane. Genius, iconic, amazing. This just, I can't believe people didn't like this. It's just perfectly executed. Like everything is like so well thought out the whole time. I'm furious. I'm so mad. But anyway, I wish DuJour got to be in this more. But you know, it's a little sprinkling of beauty. You know, we can't have it the whole time, or it would be the DuJour movie, which I would watch. So someone make it happen.
They tried to in like 2016, at some point in 2017, when they were talking about things for the 16th anniversary, they said they tried to, Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfount, they said they tried to pitch I think a mini series about DuJour to Netflix, and about the band like getting back together for a reunion tour after like shit hitting the fan years and years earlier. But unfortunately, by the time they were pitching it, I think like Popstar was already happening or like started to come out, and they were like, it was kind of the same movie. So like it didn't go through, but it would have been iconic, and I think they should still do it, and I would still watch it, and I don't care if they word for word remake Popstar exactly. That's fine.
That's what Popstar's about. I really want to see that, but
I don't know. I haven't seen Popstar.
They filmed it at my work and Andy Samberg asked me where the bathroom was, and I told him. Ooh. Of my life. Anyway. Okay, so we have to close the book on DuJour for now, but don't worry, they'll be back. the one thing that this movie has going for it, the one thing, the millions of things, but one of the millions of things that it has going for it is it's got the power montage down. It's got it down. The montages usually sometimes I tune out. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Tune out during montages because it's usually not, super important stuff. It's like someone working out or something like that. Like, no, this is the most information packed montage I've ever seen in my life. When we meet all the Pussycats, there's so much that you need to learn. Like, Valerie is sporty. Here's 5 reasons why. She gives back to the community. Josie works on cars. Like, there's just like so much. Melody holds some lizards, which I love about her.
Fosters kittens.
Yes, she fosters a lot of kittens to the chagrin of her bandmates. It's also such a fucking iconic song, the opening song. So
the opening song for like the Pussycats intro song is my favorite of the songs that they sing in the movie, and it kind of makes me upset that we only hear it once.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The whole soundtrack slaps, and obviously I owned it. And you get only a little bit of most of the songs. Like, you don't get a full song most of the time, but they'll give you a full song on the soundtrack. But
it's so good.
I have to be honest. I feel like this is my moment to make this confession. There's so much really great original music in this movie and on this soundtrack that was partially written by Adam Schlesinger, who sadly passed away of COVID in 2020. But he also worked on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and was in
From Fountains of Wayne.
Yeah, Fountains of Wayne. But I thought they were all original songs when I was younger. And then I swear to God, not until like November, when I was driving up to my grandparents' house with my dad in the car and we were listening to like Beatles radio.
You didn't know that Money was a Beatles song? Oh my God.
I never heard it before. It just didn't occur to me that that song wasn't original for the Josie and the Pussycats movie. And I didn't, it's not that I was like, did the Beatles cover Josie and the Pussycats? But it just took me a second to be like,
no,
wait,
you're not.
The Beatles, some of them died before that movie came out. So that can't be right.
Also, listen to the production. This is from whenever, the 60s. But okay, like, let's just talk real quickly about who does the music and what's happening there. Unfortunately, that's not Rachel Lee Cook singing the songs. It's the lead singer, Kate Hanley of Letters to Cleo. And I can't remember what their hit song is, but I listened to this entire album on my bike ride home from work yesterday. And then it went into radio for the album, and it was like the boppiest radio in my life. So that's what you need to do. If you're not going to watch the movie anytime soon, you're wrong. But like, listen to the entire soundtrack and then just let it keep going. You get some great Letters to Cleo songs on there. But besides that, the music was produced by Kenny Babyface Edmonds. Like, he's huge. We already said Adam Schlesinger, Jane Weedlin from the Go-Go's, and that dog's Anna Waronker. I don't know who she is, but I like her name, and good for her. Thank you is what I wanted to say to her. But it's just bop after fucking bop, and I wish I had this CD when I was younger. I wish I could say this was my first CD. Like, I really miss the mark here. Child Monica failed.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it was Pretend to Be Nice was always the number one hit. That was the one that stuck with me over the years. That was the one in middle school, I went on this like student ambassador trip or whatever, and I do not know why. But I decided it was for me to perform this song for everybody on a somewhat regular basis. And there was a video of it at some point that was on MySpace where I was like, I look so hot. And I'm like, thank God it doesn't exist anymore because it was not appropriate for a middle schooler to post online.
I'm devastated that it doesn't exist
I'm
anymore.
also devastated.
I am thrown to the floor in grief right now. I was so excited. I was like, let's go on MySpace right now.
I mean, I can still log into my old MySpace account, but I don't think I was the one who posted it. So I just think it's lost to the sands of time. But I'll check for you. I will check for you.
Okay, can we just talk about something? I know it's early in the pod to talk about it, but like there's a vibe between Valerie and Josie, right? Like,
oh yeah,
100%. Yeah,
bro, it's so palpable. Also, I just want to say this from the beginning, like Rosario Dawson in this movie is it for me.
She can step on my neck and I would say thank you.
They do give her some matronly outfits, but she looks amazing.
Yeah, they style her weird because I don't think they knew what to do. Like, she's like a little curvier than the other girls, and I don't think they knew what to do with that. And I'm just like, let her just do whatever she wants. She looked great. Even she made the matronly outfits look amazing, but like just her whole vibe, everything. When she wears the lavender eyeliner. Ooh. Anyway.
It felt right for the character to be like less of the sexy outfit all the time. It felt right for the like fashion industry within the film to be like, we don't know what to do. This movie is very weight focused, by the way. That is the only flaw about this movie, is that there's nothing really moderating that. I'm 115. That's 3 pounds less than you. I'm gonna eat 1 chip. Oh no, I'm fat.
Like, I also feel like they're the movie and the characters are like racist towards Valerie, you know.
Oh,
it's
for
not
sure.
like as explicit, but like that's like part of the reason why they're like trying to kick her out the most. Like
that and the band girls are also very mean to Alexandra, their band manager's sister. Like they are just like mean to her. I mean, she's not
mean
great.
She's so mean to them.
But like it's very, know what I mean? Like that's not very feminist of you.
That's not very girl supporting girls.
Right? But this is, again, this is
she's just there because she's in the comics.
This is a pre 9/11 movie. Once again,
you can feel the carefree energy. Not a worry.
So we weren't in the body positivity era that we are in now, the body positivity girl.
Oh, the body positivity era that was brought on by 9/11.
Yeah, directly tied to the September 11th terrorist attacks. Really natural segue.
The one good thing that came out of 9/11 was the body positivity movement.
I mean, that's very related. Because I made you watch it on my birthday, September 11th.
Oh, so yeah, that's true. Oh, my God. It's all connected. I'm sorry, Sydney. Just the way you brought that up right after it sounded like that's what you were saying. And I was like, agreed. Bush did 9/11, but he also made me love my body. Like...
I'm gonna
throw up. You didn't expect this from the Josie and the Pussycats episode, did you?
Or maybe you did. Cultural commentary, etc.
Etc. Oh man. I just want to also say that Alan M is a fucking idiot, because if there is ever a woman who is as hot as Josie and as cool as Josie and as talented as Josie, and she could also fix cars, and she fixed my car, it would be over. Like, what is he dumb? I don't like that he figures it out once she's famous. I don't feel like he's just really slow. I get that, but like, I didn't like that. Come on,
I wanted a more important commentary for Alan M is smash or pass.
Smash. I'm sorry, he was exactly my type at that time.
I have complicated feelings about Alan M because literally so forgettable. Did nothing for me, never stood out in my recollections of this movie. Josie does so much work to make him seem desirable just by being like so into him, and he does not a bad job, because I'd like to say I don't think he only figured it out once she was famous. I think he just like, it's a tricky situation to navigate. He was like, does she like Valerie? Does she like me? Obviously, we're both very into her. And he does like treat her with the appropriate amount of awe, especially when he's like trailing his fingers down the chain at the back of her dress when she's in the cheetah dress before going to Fiona's party. That is very sexy. But I don't like that he is like kind of stealing her shine at the end. You know what I mean? Like the ending is complicated for me. Sorry, we're so jumping all around, but whatever. It doesn't matter. This is our podcast. At the end, she's on stage and he like comes in to be like, is it too late? Blah, blah, blah. This is my last moment. And it's triumphant because it's like, Josie's on stage. She's got the music. She's got the crowd and she's got the guy. And so it's like, yay, we're happy for her. But also like, you're going to interrupt her moment to make it about you, Alan M. This is her moment.
I totally agree.
But like, also, she would never hear him. I'm sorry.
I know, that was so
There's no way he's going to convince people to carry him to the stage. Come on.
I know. They'd all be like, no, I want to get to Josie.
He is very tall, though. I'll say that for him. He's very tall.
Good for him for being tall. We love that.
I think if you literally just replaced him with a non-binary lesbian, though, I would go feral for him. So you wouldn't have to change anything else. That would be enough for me. I'd be like 100% all in on Alan all of a sudden.
I only like medium ugly guys, and he's nothing, like he's not hot, but he's not ugly enough. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
he's very medium, but like he looks like my crush from that era. He looks like Spencer. He does. Spencer, if I showed Spencer a picture of him, I'm friends with him now. I've got over it. Okay.
I was there when you told Spencer that you had a crush on him, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I know. My mom told me."
God damn, Lisa. She fucking. I was like, this is gonna be hilarious. We're drunk. We're hanging out. It's been 15 years since I had a crush on him. He was my best friend my entire childhood. And I was like, I'm gonna tell him this, and it's gonna be so fucking funny. And then he's like, yeah, I already know. And I was like, okay, well, that's news to me because you're the only person in the entire school who did not know during school. So when did Lisa tell you? When did your mom tell you? Like 5 days ago? Like, I feel like you wouldn't have ever come to this on your own. But anyway, back to the movie. That I just like that swoopy hair. There was a time when I liked blondes. Sorry, Sydney, I still like you. But blondes aren't my first choice. As
here's the thing, blondes are not my choice at all. Sorry about it. Like blonde couples
I had a bad
me.
experience with a freshman year roommate who was blonde, and it put me off them for a while.
Well, we heard all about it on our roommate episode.
Yeah. Put me off blondes. I'm sorry, but I will be your friend.
As
anyway,
a blonde, I can't date a blonde because blonde, like all blonde couples, terrifying.
Sinister vibes.
Yeah, big sinister vibes. Like I can't do it. Like it scares me. And as a blonde, I'm like, redhead, please. Oh God, I love redheads. I love redheads. Oh, yeah.
Fun.
Let's talk about Josie's hair really quickly.
Yes,
very
would have
feathery.
died for it. Very exciting about it. But very spiky. A part of this movie that is so fast. Another one of the magical montages is like after they've been signed, they go to like makeup before recording, and like all these makeup people like attack them, and it's like very fun. But at the very end, it's like blink and you missed it. And I did the first time we watched it. One lesbian appears in the background, and she comes up to Josie and she does one flip with a round brush to Josie's hair. And it's like, does one thing and then it's perfect. And I was just like, the fact that they brought this lesbian in for this, I was like, thank you. This is what we need.
She nailed it. And the hair was so iconic in this movie that it unfortunately inspired a lot of people to like go to their hairstylist and be like, I want this hair, which is a mistake if you don't have a professional styling it for you every day. And even on the set of this movie, it was an impossible standard. And Rachel Lee Cook talked about this in an interview, and she talked about it in a second one with Rosario Dawson as well, because they were doing her hair every day at first, and then it just became like unmanageable to try and keep it like red, first of all, and to keep it styled all of the time. And so they switched to a wig like halfway through filming. And also then it was so annoying to Rachel Lee Cook to have to try and fit all of her hair under a wig that apparently she just literally buzzed her hair off and regretted it afterwards. And afterwards was like, why did I do that? But Rosario Dawson was like, no, I loved it. It was so rock and roll. Like, I just
they were lovers in real life.
I wish. But yeah, back to that. Valerie is so clearly very in love with Josie, and that is so clearly the subtext of all of the Valerie Josie friendship drama as well, because like they're all so tight in the beginning, but you can tell that Valerie a little bit in the beginning from the plane ride is starting to be like, I don't know, because Josie's bringing Alan M along with them. She's just like bringing him along for the ride. He doesn't need to be there. She lies and says he's a guitar tech because she didn't want to leave him home alone with Alexandra, who, by the way, is also here. So like, he really doesn't need to be here now. But she sneaks him on, and I think Valerie is just like, I think they're kind of doing the same thing, Valerie and Alan M. They're having the same journey, which is, I like Josie. Does Josie like me? What do I do if Josie doesn't like me? We are friends, so I don't want to take any action. I'm just going to hold back. But for Valerie, there's like the additional complication of like,
them being in the public eye now.
In Josie's life, and the industry is trying to push her out in general. And so she's like, does Josie not want me? Does nobody want me? The industry doesn't want me, etc. Like, it's also intertwined. Whether or not they want to say it in this film, I know that it's gay. I know that it is.
It is. It literally is canon. The vibes are so strong. You can cut them with a knife. Like, it's beautiful. What was I going to say? It's gone. All right. What do we want to talk about?
I think that Josie should just get to have a girlfriend and a boyfriend, frankly, is what I think. I think she should get to have both, and that works for me.
Why can't she
But
have
also,
it all?
if Valerie wants to move on and find somebody who makes her the star of the show 100%, she deserves that too.
Yeah, I don't know if Valerie will want to share. She's not a sharing. I don't know.
A mood.
But also, like, is Alan M even a threat? You know what I mean?
She could literally kill Alan M. Like, she almost kills Alan Cummings. So Alan M, just another Alan to obliterate.
Frankly.
Quite frankly. You messed with the wrong pussy.
It's so fun. The relationship dynamics are so perfect. I think it is so sweet that Melody is also there and like kind of just chilling, but also like very much an integral part of the group, and has those moments where she really offers insight and skill. Like she when they're in the coffee shop with Alan Cumming for the first time, and they go into the bathroom and they're like, did anybody else notice something weird? And she's like, yeah, like how he ordered a frappuccino but with no foam. Why not just order an espresso? And the way that he picked out his napkin, like he was worried that he didn't have any real friends, just people trying to use him because he's a big music guy. Like, she has these moments when they were doing,
they were like, yeah
when they're doing the TRL showdown, and
the TRL showdown. Why was amazing. That comedy guy there?
Ari Spears.
What was he doing? Oh my God. I almost threw up when he did the Cosby impression. I was like, that didn't age well.
I mean, it kind of did age well in a way.
I mean, in the villain sense, yeah.
I think that might be my favorite like scene in this movie, because didn't the TRL guy,
Carson Daly.
Yes. I'm like, we just said his name. Didn't him and Tara Reid date? Like,
yes, they were dating at that time.
Yeah, like they met on this shoot and started dating. And
the timeline is super unclear to me. I tried to research it. But they started dating in March 2000 and got engaged in October 2000. And this movie came out in, I think, April 2001. So it was like they were engaged by the time the movie came out, but I think they did meet filming the cameo.
Filming this. Can you imagine becoming engaged because you met a man who is set to kill you?
That is exactly what happened with Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know if his character is supposed to kill Megan Fox, but he's really mean to Megan Fox's character in that weird movie that they have coming out. I saw the trailer for that. I was like, this is the movie where you guys fell in love. This fucking shit. Sorry, did anyone see the trailer for that Machine Gun Kelly movie? Oh, God. It looks stupid. Sorry, Machine Gun Kelly. Sorry, Megan Fox. Love you, girl. But
love you, girl. They are engaged now as well, much like Carson Daly and Tara.
Exactly.
Reid
That's what I'm. This is the allegory that I'm making here.
Allegory. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's very cute, especially because in the scene they were like bonding and being like, you're a Scorpio, I'm a Cancer, and those are their real signs in real life, apparently. Sydney, weigh in, astrology girly.
As somebody who has dated a Cancer, it was never gonna last. Everybody says,
and it didn't for them.
Everybody always says, like, water signs are so good with each other. No.
Too
As
many.
a Scorpio,
just drown.
I don't like Pisces. I don't like Cancers. Please stay away from me. Please.
Sure.
That's fine.
I'm a Pisces moon. You know, look at us little water sign moon girlies over here.
That's fine. Both of you are women. It's different with men.
Sure. But yeah, in that scene, Valerie is like very much holding her own against Ari Spears, but he kind of gets toppled when he just like, she dodges and he gets all wrapped up and a pipe falls on him. Tara Reid, Melody, she like fully bashes Carson Daly and like kicks his ass. And so I just
she
don't
later
want
does like some martial arts in the second fight scene.
I want their Melody's contributions to also be as valued, even though they're not necessarily giving her a character arc.
Yeah, true. But I do love all of the dumb shit that she says, because it's so pure and it's so wonderful. Like the fact that like when Josie is like possessed, or not possessed, but brainwashed to hate Melody and Valerie, like she says like actually hurtful things to Valerie, but what she does to Melody is she says, just so you know, puppies grow up to be dogs and dogs get old and then they die. And that's what like breaks Melody's heart, like the realization that puppies don't stay puppies forever. I was like, you pure being. And I love also when she's in the McDonald's shower,
yes,
and she's singing, and when you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, and every time she claps she drops the sponge. I love her. Okay, that's then how I want to be.
She gets out, she sees the beware the music on the mirror, and she's like, ah, and then she takes the lipstick and she just makes it a smiley face, and then she's like, yay, that's better.
All better.
Perfect. Queen.
I love it.
But you know who we haven't talked about enough is Fiona.
I was literally just about to bring her up too, because we gotta talk about her. Parker Posey. She's absolutely an icon. And I read something that was interesting, which was that like she kind of didn't get this movie at first. And she didn't really get what was happening because she's kind of an indie queen. Like with her filmography. And there was an article, somebody was talking about how she kind of was struggling when she would like take a project for financial reasons, for monetary reasons. And that's what she did with this movie, because they thought it was going to be so huge. And she was like, this movie is paying for my apartment. And she just like really didn't get the vibes at first.
and maybe was like not thrilled that she hadn't taken this because of like artistic integrity reasons. But then once she started to be able to like do her scenes with Alan Cumming and stuff like that, she saw how much fun he was having with it, and what he was bringing to the role, and kind of like how he was navigating the space, and that he like got it. And then she like clicked it, and it was like, okay, I see what's happening here. I can play off of you, and now I'm having fun. And I'm just so glad that she got around to it, because Fiona is an unstoppable force, a force of nature, a true girly girl, girl boss icon.
Girl boss, yeah.
Yes,
the OG girl boss.
The girl boss, 100%.
And I also love female villains, because as much as what's the saying? Like, as much as I love women's rights, I support women's wrongs.
Yes, important.
Incredible. I mean, she's created a masterpiece of destruction here. I mean, she's got the money out of the pockets of the youth. She makes it look easy. She does it in a second. DuJour was only around for a year, and she took over the world with them. Like, it's genius. She's genius. She's got the government on her side. She's also getting foreign governments maybe involved, like foreign entities involved. Like, she's a queen, and she also has incredible outfits that blow my mind every single time. A small detail that is something that is so funny to me is when you're first introduced to her and she starts to take you down into the basement where all of the subliminal messaging happens, that she like brushes off one of those sand zen gardens, and that's where the thing is. I just thought that was such a brilliant detail. Because she's not chill.
Everything about her is flawless. When we see her, even before that, when we just see like her nails clicking and just her mouth being like, I'm waiting. And then you finally see her in full in that scene, and she's got the like choker with little like fishing wire coming up with the feathers, and when she turns you can like hear them whipping. I love that detail.
That is the best outfit I've ever seen.
Yes. And I also love that moment because she and Wyatt both are so good, and also really truly terrible at deflection. There are so many moments where Wyatt will be like, and this blah blah blah, and someone will be like, that doesn't make sense, and he's like, exactly. And I love that for him, and for her. Like when the government guy is like, the teens will never know what hit him, and she's like, and neither will you. And he's like, what? And she's like, huh? What? Like she tries so hard to be like, huh? I didn't say anything. Oh, and neither will you guys. Like the teenagers, like it's so funny. This movie is so hard actually to talk about cohesively and do an episode on, because every single moment is perfect and flawless and jam-packed. Like I want to talk about every single moment of it. But you can't.
It's like every line is iconic. Every line is iconic. We haven't even talked about the manager. He's fucking hilarious. That moment when Josie comes back from realizing that she's been brainwashed, and she like runs into the room to try to find Melody and Valerie, and they're already gone, and he's like coked out on Red Bull. Like he's just absolutely tweaking, because he's like the most susceptible to the subliminal messaging like the entire time. Like so any funny. Like whisper of the Mr. Movie phone, he's buying it.
and he has that moment cute. During the sad montage where he's like crying at the Barney's window because there's a matching pant for his shirt, but it's behind the glass and he can't get to it, and he's just
that shit's so funny.
So good. Alexander.
So and Missy Pyle is so good in this with her skunk hair. She rocks the skunk hair. It's beautiful. And she's just great in everything. And she looks so much like this girl I know from high school, and it just blows my mind every time. What else there's so much to say about this movie, but it's so hard to say it. Like there's so much to say, including this piece of trivia that I cannot get over. Beyonce, Aaliyah, and Lisa Left Eye Lopez all auditioned for Valerie.
Incredible.
I'm glad that they didn't go with any of them. I mean, I just am so glad it was Rosario Dawson. I'm just so in love with her. But that's nuts. That's nuts. Rosario Dawson reigned supreme in 2001, even though all those people already had established careers. But it makes it extra weird that Wyatt does that one joke about TLC. Where that whole scene, he's making jokes that are probably not doing so hot nowadays. But I was just like, that seems like an extra weird dig because Lisa went for this role. I don't know. It's so weird.
I think they liked her though. I think they brought her in a couple of times and she really wanted the role apparently. And I think she did an audition with Rachel Lee Cook, but all of the actresses in this movie kind of just like came to it separately. And then we're just like lucky that their chemistry was like absolutely fucking fire and that they were just like having a blast filming. They were all like, Rachel Lee Cook was 19 when they started filming, and then she had her like 20th birthday during filming of this movie. And Tara Reid was like maybe 23 or 25, somewhere in there. And Rosario Dawson was also like 20 to 22. Somewhere they're all so young when they came in. But I saw one of the things about the casting was that some of the musicians that they came in for the role were just like playing it a little too serious, like a little too dramatic. They weren't necessarily like feeding into the comedic elements, but apparently the audition scene that they used was like the fight between Josie and Valerie. So I mean, rough scene to judge comedic elements on anyway.
Like, haha, I hate you. Like, what? Like that's really weird.
Haha, I knew you never wanted me in the band. Blah blah blah. Like,
yeah, like they were serious when they acted that in the actual take they used in the film. So I don't know what the fuck they were looking for.
Yeah, I think they just had like a million references in this movie. Like you said, they referenced TLC, they referenced Hole. What was the other bands that they referenced at that point?
Lots of clear references in this movie.
Lots of clear references. They maybe referenced Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. When Wyatt has that line. Yes. Oh, I love those three girls who are insane, who in the beginning are like,
yes,
they're so funny. What do they say in the beginning?
High school girls, they're like, Skanky played a show that no one cared about.
Right.
And nobody came. And then they show up at the hotel room later and they're like, we love you. And Josie's like, we know you.
The way that scene is shot makes it extra overwhelming. Like you
feel
like the fisheye anxiety.
That.
I love it. So funny. It was effective.
And I love seeing them change their color scheme. And seeing the color scheme in general change throughout the movie as they like flip through it. There's that scene when Wyatt is in the record store and he's like, this is the last great single. He gets the DJ to play it like over the music to be like, last great single from the late great DuJour. And then you see everybody like rocking around jamming to it and the guy being like, I'm gonna get some Zima, and his word's like, you don't drink, and he's like, I think I'm gonna start. And the girls are like, pink is the new orange. Blah, blah, blah.
Orange is the new pink, which we
orange
also
is the new pink. You're right.
Here in Legally Blonde, which also came out in 2001 in July.
A true industry line.
This movie came out in April of 2001. So what did they know?
What did they know and when did they know it?
What did they know? Also, just want to touch on it real quickly. Mega Records kidnaps dissenters.
I know.
They need someone to be their human test subjects. Why not the people who are the most resistant so that they can make sure to really cover all of their bases? It's good science is what it is.
Let the punks live.
I plug my ears when shit like that comes on. He's like, wow, you must be a real true whatever he says. Yes. So funny. The way they just shove her into the van, it pulls off, and then it's like MTV.com in the background is just every piece of this movie is a little work of art.
The idea that MTV itself is like the proliferator of this entire thing. Like, we've created a television channel that makes people care about these artists' lives, and it's MTV. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's so
they
smart.
Created behind
What's
the music.
What's wrong with you, Roger Ebert? You idiot!
They made the episode, and honestly, every time I watch this movie, I have to Google, was there a chief in Captain and Tennille? Just to be sure. And no,
the Captain and Tennille part is so heavy-handed.
It's so heavy-handed, but it's like also perfect for Val to be like really leading into her anxiety and her worries. I'm sure they like had that queued up in her hotel room just for her on purpose. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
The psychological warfare. This movie, I wrote in my notes, this movie invented negging, I'm pretty sure. Because they do such a good job of just being like, oh, okay, also you. Like, yeah, oh my God, you guys are such rock stars. You guys are so amazing. Oh, wait, Val, you didn't get an invite? I guess you can come along. Just whammies left and right the whole time.
Their plan is evil and nefarious, but it's seamless, except for, underestimating the Pussycats. That was their big flaw. But let's
underestimating DuJour. DuJour successfully landed that plane.
Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about the ending, because the ending was the most mind-blowing experience that I've ever experienced in my life. Oh my God. It's got to come to a head, and Josie has to play the concert now because basically Fiona has staged a car explosion that will kill I almost said Tara Reid. It will kill Melody and Valerie. They already have the tape ready to play on MTV.
Sabrina Ansha for MTV News.
Also, the fact that it's just called Big Concert. Like, we couldn't have thought of a better name than Big Concert. That's Concert. Fun. But the kitty cat ears that everyone wears, that's gonna like subliminal message the fuck out of them, remind me of like the BTS like light sticks that light up with the songs. They have these at the BTS concerts, and like you need to buy one of these light sticks so you like your thing will light up with everyone else, and then it all looks cool. And I'm like, they do this shit.
Cute.
I mean, it is cute, but I was like, is it subliminally messaging us? No, they just want us to spend $20,
And those BTS fans will spend those $20.
Army will do it because they're faithful and they're powerful.
They're a very powerful fan base.
They're so powerful. They've done good for the world.
Yes.
There's enough of them that they're just like, we're going to save Planned Parenthood, and they might be able to do it. Like,
right.
We will secure gay rights. And honestly, thank you to Army.
Right.
When this movie says join the Army, they mean become a
Army.
BTS fan.
Right.
Army is great. Shouts out to my friend Brooke, who has her fan culture podcast, and she talks about BTS all the time. She's amazing.
Yes, she does.
But anyway, back to the end of this movie. I don't even know where to begin. There's so many things that happen, namely Fiona's Mega Records dress that is just like a ball gown with patches all over it. That's just really incredible to me. And
I actually would like to start slightly before that, if you don't mind,
please.
Because Missy Pyle has one of the most iconic line delivery moments just before that, when they're in the studio and they're like uncovering the subliminal messaging, like playing around with the mega sound machine and figuring it out. And then they're like, who is that? And they recognize that it's Mr. Movie Phone. And she goes, you slept with him. I just think that is one of the best delivered lines in the whole movie. Alexandra she comes in with bangers left and right. Everything that she says is so funny, is so iconic. And it's just, she's perfect. But I love that whole scene, and I love her like, ooh, brainwashing, ooh, Diet Coke is new, blah, blah, blah. She's flawless. But that's when they get caught by Fiona and dragged to big concert to put on the show. They get that whole pitch, and then there's like, it's so funny because they're doing most of it while Val and Mel are sitting there in the spinny car, and Josie's like, trying to keep pace circling around it so that they can stay looking at each other. And then Fiona's just like, all right, why am I allowing this to go on? Which, like, good question, Fiona. Run your show. This is your thing. But thankfully, DuJour step in at just the right moment. And
I just love that they have the ability to land a plane. Like, DuJour means flight school or something.
DuJour means friendship. DuJour means crash positions. DuJour means seatbelts. DuJour 100% means practicing flight simulators course. In your spare time.
DuJour also means anal sex. Don't forget.
It does mean anal sex. And DuJour also means enemy of Metallica fans. Because the reason that they're all fucked up is that Metallica fans beat the absolute shit out of them. There's the line where the lesser known but least beat up Les says, I thank God every day that I know the words to Enter Sandman. And that's why I guess he's not in a full body cast. I was wondering, are they all in full body cast because they couldn't get those 3 actors back for that scene?
I was thinking.
I don't like, did we see that in the trivia?
I didn't see that anywhere. I do feel like that is possibly the case, either because they couldn't get them back or because from the beginning they were like, we know we only have limited time with them, so we're just going to do this one scene and this other guy can give us a little more time. I feel like it must have been a fairly big get for them to get all of those comedians in the early 2000s, and they've all like worked together before that and since. They are booked and busy as well, but it's so funny. He's got the little, what's the monkey's name? Dr. Jayus or something like that. He's in something a little like full body cast as well.
I forgot about
on
that.
the shoulder. And so it's got amazing. Some of their like outfit details on the cast so that you can tell who's who, which I imagine Les did so lovingly for them. He's just a very good boy.
He's such a good boy, and they try to help, but they like literally do nothing because they're so destroyed. But don't worry, the girlies can handle themselves. I just love also like Rosario or Valerie is having like a legitimate smackdown with Wyatt and is destroying his life and ripping him limb from limb.
When she clotheslines him.
When she clotheslines him, that's so hot. It was so hot. And then
again,
Melody
I would like her to do that to me.
Yeah. That's fine. She can break my neck. I don't care. And then Melody's over there fucking whipping it out with martial arts skills that no one can believe. Like, she's incredible. And then Josie and Fiona are having a literal cat fight, like hair pulling, hand slapping,
which is so funny.
It's so funny and it's amazing. And it leads to Fiona destroying her own mega sound machine or whatever the fuck it's called. Where it reveals that this whole big concert was not trying to subliminal message. I can't say that fucking word. Like more products to get them all more money. It was just subliminally messaging things like, Fiona's really cool and she's really awesome and everyone wants to be her. And she's like, you should be her friend. And it's just so
which is
funny.
So cute though. It's not even like give Fiona your money. It's like Fiona is the best friend in the world. Like, everyone befriend Fiona. She just wants to be popular. She just wants to be popular.
I mean, very desperate to be popular. Can't relate.
Despy. It just goes back to the scene when like they have the Josie party scene. And she invites them. Yeah, she invites the girls into her bedroom, and she's just like the strangest freakazoid that ever freaked. Like, we love her. But like these are the details that make this movie so amazing. When she like does the hand signal of herself in the portrait that's behind her, like there's so many details. We could talk about this movie for 5 hours. Like,
they have their own cover of the Josie and the Pussycats song at that point. Why do you do what you do to me, baby? The like jazzy cover of it.
Oh, I did not realize that at the time. I was like, I recognize this song. I love this song.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But yeah, I mean, from the get-go, we knew that she was weird, but it's because she's deeply insecure because she has a horrible lisp and horrible teeth, apparently. Poor thing. Lisping Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, that reveal at the end is
just
unhinged.
Something I never could have expected in my life. Lisping
you
Lisa?
get glimpses of the lisp earlier on, and then she just like is like, all I wanted was to be pretty and popular, and she fought and clawed her way to the top of this industry, to a cozy relationship with the US government and foreign leaders, with pretty much sole control over all of pop culture, just to be pretty and popular. And honestly, good for her. She accomplished a lot, and I think she did amazing. And so what if she had to kill some musicians along the way? So what?
She also had to gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss, okay?
And she did it. She bopped right to the top. Alan Cummings' reveal, though, is just like so horrifying. Like that he's like secretly
white ass
British,
Wally.
And he's white ass Wally. It's so mean. And he's like has no hair and the tummy thing. I was like, it just keeps coming. We could have gone with one less of these things, but it was hilarious. But also fucked up. But I also just love the best part of this whole scene for me is when the US government guys show up and Josie's like, yo, did you know that they're doing this? And the government guy is like, oh, what? And like goes to like arrest Fiona. And he's like, yeah, well, we found out that subliminal messaging in movies is much more effective. And that moment where it just shows the words
Josie and the Pussycats is the best movie in the world. For the army.
You have that t-shirt and it's just it's
hold
perfect.
on.
It's perfect. It's so funny because I saw the shirt before I had seen the movie. And so I was like, well, I agree. It is, I'm sure it's going to be an incredible movie, but like it's brilliant. I wish that these directors and writers could have made more movies. I wish that fucking Roger Ebert, little bitch, hadn't said such mean things that hurt their feelings so bad they're scared to ever do a movie again. Because think of what else we could have.
Mm-hmm.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, I think that whole scene is so fun. And I love that Alexander is naked and just wearing a yellow Josie and the Pussycats muscle tee, which I want. And I love that Alexandra is being like, what's the takeaway? Freaks should date other freaks. And then the government guy comes in and goes, holy shit, sorry, I thought there was a skunk on that girl's head. I just think that it's a perfect film. It's a flawless film, and every moment other than the weight stuff is perfect. But even then, I am willing to, all of the stuff that's like vaguely problematic, I am willing to say that is also a commentary on the time in the industry.
It was like the bad people saying the bad stuff. So I feel like it makes it more like, and this is another reason that they're bad.
And I unfortunately I don't know that came across to me necessarily at the time, because I forever remembered the conversation of, so Josie, what do you weigh? And she's like 118, and she's like, 115. I'm 3 pounds later. Like that stuck with me for years, and I was like, you're supposed to weigh 115 pounds.
Oh no, Chelsea, that sucks.
It is bad, but it wasn't just this movie. You know what I mean? You hear it everywhere.
It was the time.
Yes.
But the number specifically did stick with me.
The ideal weight.
It's fine. I don't weigh 115
Whatever
pounds
Barbie
now.
Posey says is low.
We're all very hot, and none of us weigh 115 pounds, and therefore,
I don't even think my bones weigh 100. Like, I think my bones weigh more than 115 pounds.
No, and one thing that I've also learned is men have no idea how much women actually weigh.
Yes.
Like they just like
they have no idea.
They have no idea.
This is going to be delayed by the time this episode comes out, but there was like literally discourse this weekend about Megan Thee Stallion, and people being like, no way she weighs this. And it's like, she is so tall. What do you mean there's no way she weighs that?
She's tall,
oh my God.
Weigh a lot.
Thick too. Like, and not like big, like she's muscly, like, and muscle weighs
so strong. The way
more
she can squat and bounce, that's takes a lot of strength.
That's muscles, baby. Also, think about how much your guts weigh, you know? Like your colon and your spleen and your heart and your lungs. And those are all bigger when you're taller. Just saying.
She got ass and titties, and those weigh. Like
that alone. Lots of pounds. That
let
alone.
a woman live.
Like let a woman live.
Let a man live. It's no one's business what anyone weighs, and no one should care. And Parker Posey.
They should never try to guess, because they just look so fucking stupid. And I am going to use this opportunity to just do a blast of somebody that I went to college with, who wrote a very fatphobic story in one of our classes, and was like, this girl was so fat. She weighed 150 pounds. And I was just like,
that's what I weigh.
5'6", 150.
I
disgusting.
Guess I'm so
and I was like, sir.
Sure.
I just have a lot of news for you. And you're not gonna like it.
Baby boy.
It's okay. I had this realization with one of my guy friends, and he was shocked to learn that I weighed 10 pounds more than him. I'm like, baby, we're the same height. Your thigh is this big.
Your legs are little twigs.
You are chicken legs. Like, how much do you think I weigh? And he's like, I just didn't think that much. And I'm like, my dude.
Like, yeah. If I tackled you, you'd go down, bitch. Like, that's why I hang around with you. I love to be around men that I can crush.
I want to crush you with my thighs. Okay, you like it.
Important to be dense. I've always maintained that.
Think that women are made of balsa wood or something. I think that's what they think. So dainty. No, this isn't a science project, baby. Come on.
We sturdy, okay?
Strong like ox. Anyway,
shoulders.
Let's move
like
on to our segments.
Yeah, it's segments time.
It's hard to go into it more than we already have, but how could it be gayer?
No, I've got a lot.
Go.
Everybody but the U.S. government should be gay, for one. Everybody in
U.S.
DuJour
government can't be gay.
I mean, they could, but not in this movie. And maybe they can't. I don't know.
It's okay.
But
we don't have to go there.
They could be questioning their sexuality. It's fine.
They're the institution.
They're too minor for me to care.
Everybody else, so camp, so queer. I think Alan M as a non-binary lesbian works well both for Josie and for Alexandra, who is queer. You can't tell me Alexandra is not queer. I also think everybody in DuJour is gay of some variety, some sort of queer. Les is bisexual. Alexander is gay, I think. Melody, I think, is like a non-binary she, they bisexual. I think that Josie could be a lesbian. Okay. I've been thinking about this one for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think, I don't know how you would do it, but I think if you got trans writers in the, assuming this were ever actually a real project, but I think if you got trans writers in the writer's room for the Josie reboot or whatever, Fiona and Wyatt, there's a way to make them T for T that's not fucked up. And I just don't know how to do it without it still being the freaks should date other freaks thing, because that's not the vibe that I want. But I just feel like didn't feel comfortable with themselves in their youth, came into their power, reinvented themselves, living the life that they want, becoming the dictators of nations, and they're just holding on to their power. I feel like they could be an iconic T for T couple, and I want that for them, but I don't know how to do it without the way that the movie does the reveals. That's kind of like, ew, they're gross. So totally. If there's no way to do it, that's not you, they're gross, then they can just be something else. You know what I mean?
They got to make the reveal of what Mr. Movie Phone says a little bit different, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that I like that idea.
I think it would be very powerful,
mind, Chelsea,
if someone could figure it out. Not me, but I'll get the ball rolling.
Thank you so much for starting this project. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, everyone's gay. What about Valerie? You didn't say what Valerie's vibe is.
She's a lesbian. Okay, she's in love with Josie. Josie's the one for her. She could in theory move on to somebody else, but I think she should get to be with Josie. I think that they should have kissed at some point, or at least
the vibes were so strong.
Yeah, at least some point in one of the montages in the beginning, maybe like, oh, haha, could show that they dabbled at some point, maybe. I don't know.
Also, at the very end, after Alan M and her like kissing, Josie are kissing for so long on the stage, and then Valerie comes up and gives them a smile like, okay,
move on. Yeah.
It's time for the show to continue. In my mind, I was like, she's doing such a good job showing a brave face.
She is. She's being supportive of her friend. I think the text is very clear about Valerie being in love with Josie.
I couldn't agree more.
And Alan M is fine.
Whatever.
He could be better. He could be gayer. And then I would like him more. But I also think Josie and Valerie's kind of it. Even though they don't kiss, their relationship is the driving heart of this movie.
I agree.
Alan M is just set dressing.
I agree.
I do like Les and Alexandra, but I think that's also a queer couple.
I mean, both bisexuals, so queer.
Totally. All right. Well, where would Matthew Lillard fit into this movie? Because he would fit so well. Put him in DuJour.
He would be incredible Les.
Yes, or just an additional member of DuJour. We can just add in an additional member.
A fifth member of DuJour. I think he would be a hotter Alan M.
Ooh.
Yes.
Right? Like
an Alan M we could get behind.
Right? Like very sexy Alan M.
I don't want to take Alan Cummings out of this, but like I feel like he's got the freak for it. He could have if he had to, but I don't want him to. But
if they didn't cast Alan Cummings, like, yeah, he'd be perfect for this. But
we already found the number one best forever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I also think Alan Cumming is a bisexual icon, and he just should be in everything as well, you know.
I'm so attracted to him.
Maddie could have been a funny Alexander too.
Oh, he could have been a funny Alexander.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
He could have been a good like punk dissenter nonconformist who gets kidnapped. That would have been like a fun little cameo for him. You could put him anywhere in this movie and he would thrive.
Anywhere. He would have slayed. So big mistake. Only mistake in the film is not having Maddie a part of it.
Yes.
And that brings us to the dumb bitch. It's hard because everyone who does bad things is the best.
You want to know?
Besides the U.S. government.
Who's the dumb bitch of this movie?
Tell me, Sydney.
Carson Daly.
Carson Daly.
Yes.
The dumb
Carson
bitch.
Daly. Carson Daly.
You don't even need to say anything.
What a fucking mediocre man.
Oh,
mid.
Mid. How did he get with Tara Reid then?
Well, he was very popular at the time. He was a VJ, you know?
Oh, yeah, VJ.
And then he was like mean about Tara Reid after they broke up. So, you know, I'm very happy to call him the dumb bitch.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
far
don't
and
like
away.
He just have it. Bitch. And then he had to go on TV with his injuries and his broken arm and still hawk the Josie and the Pussycats concert. Honestly, it's what he deserves. Having to put on his 2 little sets of ears while visibly having had the shit kicked out of him. That's funny.
He's the dumb bitch. It's just true. Okay, it's going to be painful, but we've come to Knives Out of Fives, and now I have to hear what the bitch-ass stupid fucks thought about this movie back in the day. So just tell me, Chelsea. Ugh.
They didn't get it. They gave it on IMDb, even now, which is the part that makes me mad, actually, is I'm not mad that the critics didn't get it at the time because perhaps they were all stupid. But you're telling me that these numbers haven't improved in the past 20 years, like why not? But even today, even 20 years later on IMDb, this movie only has a 5.5 out of 10, and it is rotten from critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes, which is what fucks me up. Like, how's it going to be 52% rotten from critics and 52% rotten from audiences? That's just wrong.
I mean,
just
at least
wrong.
It's like a higher score than I thought. I thought it was going to be worse because of the reviews that I wrote. Oh my God. The reveal. I'm the dissenting critic. No, never.
I mean, those 52% of the reviews that were rotten could all have been giving the movie a 0% rating. You know how Rotten Tomatoes works. And it's just that just gets counted as rotten without like factoring the numbers in. But yeah, they didn't appreciate it. Thankfully, the 2001 Teen Choice Awards gave it some recognition. It was nominated for Choice Comedy, Choice Actress for Rachel Lee Cook, and Choice Breakout Performance for Rosario Dawson. So some acclaim from the teens. And let's be honest, those were the only voices that counted.
Thank you, teens. We love you, teens.
Thanks, teens of 2001.
This is a 5 out of 5 movie for me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Not even a question.
It's so good. It's so great. It's joyous. Every time I watch it, I notice something different that is deeply hilarious and deeply like genius, you know? It's got a canon lesbian. If not in Rosario Dawson, in that woman who fixes Josie's hair in that 1 second of the film. So that's great representation in my book. I'm at least happy that we get that. And I don't know, it's so fucking funny. It's so fucking smart. The music slaps. I will be listening to the soundtrack immediately after we finish recording once again. Like, it's 5 out of 5. I don't know what else to say.
The lights down low. Backdoor lover, you and me, no one has to know. Backdoor lover, meet you there in the secret spot. I'll show you a love that's more than her, baby.
That was beautiful. Stunning. Oh, you're gonna do the whole song?
I could keep going, but I'll stop.
What's your review?
Oh, 5 out of 5. I loved this.
Okay,
no
good.
Doubts.
I just wanted to get you on the record. Yeah, I mean, I just think that I already said 5, but I think that not a second of screen time is wasted. There's no slow points. There's nothing that every moment of this movie is doing its job and doing an absolutely amazing job. I just think it is flawless. And I don't hold them responsible for making me think that you should weigh 115 pounds. It's not their fault. It's not their fault.
I take that back.
They were commenting on the industry.
I do wish that there was more diversity and better body positivity representation, although that truly wasn't a thing in 2001. So
it wasn't a thing, but that Rosario Dawson was even allowed to be like voluptuous and curvy on screen is honestly not nothing, because her body hasn't always looked like that over the course of her career. And they with the commentaries they're making in the industry and the way that people's bodies were viewed at the time and the way that people would like get fired for shit, like I do think I don't know how purposeful it was, but it's not nothing that visual representation at least existed.
Yeah. And as we said earlier, this is pre 9/11, so Bush hadn't started the body positivity movement.
Yeah, they didn't have that movement yet. You're right.
It wasn't there.
So close, but
I love how we're just on a 9/11 kick.
It's relevant.
The themes, it's a clear reference. The through line from our last 2 films is 9/11 or the absence thereof.
Sure. But that closes the door for us on Josie and the Pussycat, the greatest film ever made, the greatest film of all time.
So next week, we start out with our only Monica approved themed month that we will have this year. No, that's true. That we've had so far this year. I won't count it out for everything. But as you know, next week, it's Pride, baby. So we're kicking it off. Oh yeah. You thought that it was already gay? It's about to get gayer, canonically. So we're starting it off with something highbrow, something art house, something Swedish. A movie that none of us had seen before. It's Let the Right One In. Came out in 2008, and it's a very exciting. I loved it. I've seen it now. And I'm excited for you guys to see it and to talk about it next week. It's going to be amazing.
And it isn't a remake. It is a remake that also had the remake stars Chloe Grace Moretz.
Really fun to get that one out.
We're not doing the Chloe Grace Moretz one. We are not.
Chloe Grace Moretz one, also approved by Monica.
I love that we've done 2 films with Chloe Grace Moretz remakes.
Yeah, apparently the Chloe Grace Moretz remake isn't like bad, but it loses all of the nuance that makes this one so fucking gay. Yeah, that makes it gay. So sorry, Chloe, but you're not the gay icon that I want you to be. You can get there. There's still time.
Yeah, someday we'll have Chloe Grace Moretz month. Because after we did Carrie, somebody said that her Carrie is actually pretty good. So I mean, who knows?
Oh my God, that would be so funny if we did Chloe Grace Moretz mediocre remake month like that.
Mm-hmm. That actually would be funny.
Are there 2 more? Someone do some research.
We could do a news. How do you call it for 2 weeks if it's not Sharky? We'll figure it out. We've got time. No rush.
Chloe 2 weeks.
We're gonna workshop it.
So let's look forward. In the future, we'll have Chloe 2 weeks, but now we're starting Pride next week. So get ready. Why not give us a 5-star review for all of the joy and important information and just like knowledge that we're spreading to the world about the greatest and most underrated film of all time, Josie and the Pussycats. An opportunity for you to write a review is you could just tell us what DuJour means to you. That could just be what you write. DuJour means seatbelts. DuJour means family. DuJour means Insert word
Say it again.
here.
DuJour means anal sex. And also 5 stars for Spooky Tuesday.
DuJour means 5 stars for Spooky Tuesday. That's a really great option. I think that's great. So tell us what DuJour means to you, as long as it also means 5 stars for Spooky Tuesday. And why not follow us on social media at spooky_Tuesday on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we're at the Spooky Tuesday Pod on Facebook and Tumblr, and at Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. And we have a YouTube account. And it's not on our YouTube account, but we do have an exciting interview that we just did with it'll be a while ago now when this episode comes out, but we did an interview with Ken Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror. So if you just look up Spooky Tuesday, that'll show up as well. So there's all tons of possibilities for you on YouTube. 2 videos on YouTube about Spooky Tuesday. 2
whole videos, baby.
One of them is not from us, but it's about us and we're in it, so you should watch it. And you know what? At the end of the day, just thank you for listening.
Bye, Spooky.
That was way too weird.
Weird? What's the point of being famous if the people you hated at high school don't want to kiss your ass? You're lucky. Most people have to wait till their 10-year reunion for that sort of revenge.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamara, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_OMG.